Good evening again. Brian Hermson, candidate for Deputy Mayor. 14 years ago, my wife and I began to look for a place to call home. We were both from the area. We worked in the city, not unlike many of the residents today. We had several choices. We could have chose to live in Ottawa close to work, or someplace closer to home. We weighed the pros and cons of each option, and we settled in Braeside. It had all that we were looking for: a small, closely knit community that was on the grow, and yet it was a close commute to work. Properties where neighbors weren't 5 feet from each other. We had access to the facilities McNab Braeside did not have, such as the library in our car and the Municipal Center. As a community, we got along well with our neighbors, both within the township and with our neighboring communities. It was, in our mind, the perfect place to start a young family. Since then, things have changed. The actions of our current council make me wonder if a prospective new resident would make the same choice Julie and I made 14 years ago. The vast majority of our community, over 75%, is 50 years of age or younger. That's families just like mine, with young children, or those with teenagers. It's also those people that are just starting out in their lives together. Who speaks for these people? Who speaks for the young family as they start out? Who speaks for the sandwich generation who have both children and parents living with them? The person to speak for them is a person who's living through the same issues they are. It's time for real change. I would be both honored and humbled if I was chosen to represent you in this next council. Good evening. Thank you very much.
I've heard a lot of proposals tonight, costing tons of money. I've heard no plans. When it comes down to it, if you're looking for a candidate or looking for a deputy mayor who's there for the township as a whole, who isn't here on one or two agendas, I'm here for everybody and everything, who always puts our township first. And trust me, your council should be putting our township first. Straightforward to the point, then you want to re-elect Christine Limpkin.
If elected as deputy mayor, my office and ears will be open. Never again will council have to deal with the taxpayer on a hunger strike, hence the personal agenda. For 2 weeks I went hungry, while everybody danced around doing whatever they do the best, a political game. I didn't follow it, but neither did they. Long story short, all those bylaws and the buddy system that they've come up with as a result of community organizations getting by. We don't want to just get by. No, we want to have a life. We don't want to have to battle with everything over everything. That's what council produced for me last year and the last 2 years. I didn't like it. You wouldn't have liked it. And all I want to do is come up with a better way of making a community that works. And everybody works together. It's simple. With other concerns, the Trans-Canada Pipeline wants to put oil through the neighborhood. No real problem. Proved to me it is not a problem. I let them in. But we have to produce them. Listen, we're having an open house down at Mr. Dirt in a couple of weeks on October the 18th, 11:30 or 4:30, I'm sorry, on Russet Drive, about 11 o'clock. come back if you got any questions or answers. There'll be a bunch of us there to answer for you. Take care.
We are pleased to live in an area that encompasses nature at its finest and provides us with rural values and great neighbors. The success of a township requires decisions be made using good judgment, practicality, and common sense. I've been fortunate to sit on many of these committees required to run our township, and with the knowledge and experience I've gained over the past 2 terms, I believe I can effectively serve the residents of McNab Braeside in the position of Deputy Mayor. I have 8 years' experience on council and 8 years of experience on many of the different committees required to operate a successful and viable township. Do you, as responsible taxpayers, want to vote for a candidate with knowledge and experience, or a candidate whose only concerns are 1 or 2 issues? Thank you.
My first responsibility as mayor and council's responsibility is to make sure you can afford to live in your homes, period. The second responsibility is your health. And toward that end, we have to crack this recreation issue. We have to align with the provincial directives for Sport for Life. We have to have affordable solutions that range from 5 to 85, whether it's hockey, curling, dance, skiing, golf. There's a range of things especially our children need to be exposed to, because their mobility at 85 starts at 5, and we have to crack that and make it affordable for everybody to participate off the tax base. The third thing is your prosperity and quality of life, and there's no place like McNab Braeside. And we do have festivals and great facilities to make this a wonderful township. Recently, we had a talk on marks of leadership. And the marks are vision, creativity, intelligence, hands, and a heart to pursue it. My heart is firmly in McNab Braeside. Where's yours? Woo!
I just want to make comments that I'm a common sense person and I like to keep things simple. I have no personal agenda, and all I want is what is best for the people and the staff of the Township of McNab Braeside. The municipality is in great need of a leader who can build relationships within the community, with our neighbors, and with government ministries. I have the type of personality to get that job done. In order to gain respect, you first have to respect others. You, the electorate, have supported me in topping the polls in 2 elections, and I am now asking for your support on October the 27th to be your new mayor of the Township of McNab Braeside. Thank you and good evening.
My opening remarks, as I mentioned, were on the negative type. Now for my positive responses to the people of McNab Braeside of what I would do if elected mayor of this township. First of all, I would have respect for the people, and I would invest in the people of McNab Braeside by actually listening to your concerns. I would hope to utilize one of the most underutilized resources in the township, and that is senior citizens' help. I want to get our volunteers back and give them the respect they deserve. Without volunteers, we don't have a community. Farming is touted the #1 industry in McNab Braeside, and I agree. I would like to form a board of active farmers to advise me of their concerns and come up with ways to grow this industry. No pun intended there. Development. I propose hiring our own planner, making sustainable development in the township easier, which will help keep taxes down. We must put out the welcome mat. Financial responsibility. This is an easy one. We need to allow our department heads to set their own budgets within percentage guidelines set by the council. And I will reduce your tax levy, keeping more money in your pocket. Common sense, as your mayor, I will fight like hell to prevent an asphalt plant being located in the Smith Quarry for all the people of McNab Braeside Township. Why? Because the solution to contaminated wells is a water filtration plant costing millions. As I mentioned before, it will be you that pays. Finally, the biggest concern of 90% of the people I talk to is the lack of a library recreational agreement with our mayor. My first priority as your mayor will be to start negotiations with our neighbors to get the best possible agreement for McNab Braeside. 2,200 people need to be heard. I would be honored to be your next mayor. Thank you.